Welcome to the Ultimate Sacrifice Show, where combat veterans and Gold Star families have a voice.
All right. Welcome to our roundtable sit down on a mediocre Friday afternoon. Not too shabby out there. How are things down in Texas?
Cooling off, man. The weather's okay. It's actually
Whoa.
nice. It's sweater weather.
You know what I just realized? You have a nice CD214 alumni polo on.
Yeah,
That is
buddy.
solid. Look
Yeah,
at
buddy.
that.
Got the American flag over here on the right side. Got
Have your left side?
DD214 on the left side, and nothing over there.
We got to hook you up. You are well deserving of that. So here's the deal. Roundtables are very different from our show, but I do think it is, actually all of us kind of thought. It was me, Jason, and Colin who hopped on a conference call, and we thought that it would be a brilliant idea to have pretty much a Sunday roundtable. It's Friday today. We can do it really any day of the week. And just sit down and kind of BS like vets or old infantry dudes, or anyone for that matter who comes on would do. I think it's A, therapeutic, and B, could be very entertaining. So we shall see where it takes us. This is literally how we would correspond on a, let's say, PG-13 level. I don't think anyone else is ready for.
No, that's a good point.
Closed door session. So open door sessions, PG-13 level, and we're just gonna go where it's at. You know, I was on my treadmill this morning, and I know, but I was walking. I'm so soft. It's pathetic how soft I've got, which is infuriating in my own mind. Think about the war that goes on in my own head after knowing me from the military till now, and how soft I am. Just pathetic. But I was walking like a soft human being that I am. And this is when I first kind of thought of this idea, or rethought of this idea rather. And something that bothers me when you transition out of the military, I think it is brilliant that the Army, or, you know, the military in general, has a system set up like SFL TAP to begin with. You know, the Army's SFL TAP, other entities have, or other branches have different realms of what they give the soldiers transitioning. But I think SFL TAP hones too much in on the college aspect of that transitioning. And I get it, we get the GI Bill. GI Bill's brilliant. But my whole argument, and I think I have a decent amount of credibility on this, due to the fact that, you know, out of high school, I remember this, like cut and dry. I was so obsessed with playing at a Division I college for baseball. Okay. Now, fast forward to when I got to my freshman year of college. Initially, I was so burnt out of the sport from being so obsessed with that for so long that I didn't even want to play when I got there. So I think the same scenario applies to pretty much everyone that is in at least our side of the military, because a lot of dudes, like I know a lot of dudes that are in who already have degrees, whether it's associates or bachelors, or they're pursuing one. A lot of us do that. Right. But I think that a lot of people also that join the military have that same alpha mentality. So a lot of them wanted to or did play college sports, or a lot of them already did go to college and they just didn't work out for them. That's why they were sitting where you and I were, so to speak. But I think the Army needs to, and the military in total, needs to hone in more on the trades or the certification. And I also think I come at this from a small sense of credibility, because I am a business owner, and I do see people applying whenever we put stuff out on Monster, Indeed, on ZipRecruiter, what have you. And I don't really care at this point if you went to Harvard or DeVry. I think it's so irrelevant in today's day and age. Everything's Googleable, everything's YouTubeable. I did my MBA when I got out, went to business school. I thought it was so cool to put those little abbreviations after my name. And I came to realize that I really didn't learn shit in business school. The only thing I learned was how to write a really fancy business plan. That means absolutely nothing.
Oh, sure.
What do you think?
I mean, yeah, college is, I mean, we got pitched for years being in the military, go to school, go to school, go to school. I tried to do college while I was in the service for years and years. And it always seemed like I was just going headfirst into a wall,
Yeah.
trying to knock these credits out. And I just didn't see the sense behind it as I'm progressing in my career. I'm like, well, I don't really need this. But then I look back on it now as a professional, as a business owner, and I look back on things. It's like, well, I really didn't need college because of two things. One, the Army does teach you everything you need to know to be successful on the outside if you pay attention, if you listen
Right.
to the small things. So when I look at that, when I say that function, I mean in a staff sense, right? When you're looking at staff and developing people and developing systems and products and design, like the Army is the college. It teaches you what you need as long as you know how to draft it and apply it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Great point. I agree with you. I think experience is just going to trump all in every single scenario you can possibly throw at me. Um,
Yeah.
I remember I was going through business school, and this one kid told me, he was like, I don't care if you're from Harvard or you went to the University of Maryland like he did. He was like, I look at you the same way. And at first, like, everyone's like, oh my God, Harvard. But now I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't possibly see, besides maybe a network, the advantage to any of that. I'm brutally honest. I really don't. I
Sure.
think that today is the day and age of complete burnout for kids coming up through society. I can see it left and right. I think the worst injustice you can do to your kid is specialize them at a young age. Like, he
Mhm.
specializes in soccer. He's 8 years old. Oh, okay. Really? Okay. Well, when he's 16, he's going to despise it. I also think it's, that's a different realm. That's strength conditioning realm. It's the number one reason why you see 13-year-olds with torn ACLs in today's society. But it's also like on the college aspect, that's why so many people are fucking burned out of college. It's because all we do is throw it down their throat. You need this piece of paper. You don't need shit in today's society. You need experience,
No,
and you need to learn how to become an entrepreneur. Do you know
exactly.
your taxes? Do you know how to cash flow statements? You know how to balance a checkbook essentially. And I don't care if you're a whiz at math or you're not, because everything's on QuickBooks today anyway. Just
Right.
simple things like that, man. I wasted hours of my life with quantitative analysis and skewing models.
Is it?
I think that we're doing a severe injustice in that realm. Um, all the viewers that are watching that staunchly disagree, I'd love to hear your opinions on the matter, to be honest with you, because I know that that's probably extremely controversial, but I've been there, I've lived it. I am a literal living example of the burnout, the D1 dream, then having to turn to the Army, bachelor's, master's, done them all. That's my opinion. You know, we'll see how I feel when my kids are 18, man. I don't know. You probably feel the same way. Like, we'll see
Well,
how I really feel.
think about it like this, Mike. Like I have an 18-year-old stepson, right?
Sure.
And we had this conversation recently. I said to him, I said, get a job. He goes, I don't want to. I said, okay. What do you want to do? And what do all young people want right now? They want to be influencers on TikTok, and they want to be making millions of dollars drafting up these silly videos, right? Well, I said, well, put it into perspective. I said, look at these kids that have all this lighting and the fancy stuff to make these videos. Where's all that coming from? And he didn't have an answer, but I did. And I said, it's coming from their parents. I said, so these kids don't want to go to school because they want to take the easy way around things. I said, you're going to find yourself into a position where if you continue to go around that circle, you're going to be working at Walmart the rest of your life because you're not looking at the perspective of, I need something to educate myself. And I think the self education is the most important part of the whole point is if you don't take the initiative to learn, you're never going to have the availability to give it to others.
I love that. Colin brought up on his show, he takes extreme ownership. That's his. I wish he was here. That punk needs to hop on. He he takes extreme ownership with a lot of things in his life, and it's very controversial, maybe, but also if you do that, it's only going to enable you to take responsibility for yourself, which is also what's lacking big time in today's society. And you know what? It all boils down to, I try to tell a lot of people, not everyone has ever been in uncontrolled, we talked about this, uncontrolled situation. Controlled, you're
Yeah.
walking down the street, you get into a fight with someone, you know it's going to get broken up in 30 seconds, 20, 30 seconds, cops, or the cops are going to come within a minute or two, or whatever. Uncontrolled, you're in Afghanistan. I mean, it's that simple. It's
That's
live
so
or die.
true.
You're in Iraq or whatever you want to
Mhm.
use the parody example too. But I think it boils down to that, man. It's not that today's society is completely soft. I do think today's parents are completely soft. I really do.
There's a softness, and you're right. And we learned that. We learned that how to be uncomfortable and be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. That's a learned behavior. It's the same thing with leadership. I've told people time and time again, and I'll always continue to preach the same fact. Leadership is a learned behavior. It's not something you're born with. You may have a trait within you to be able to lead, but fundamentally you have to be taught. And we all learn different things. It's the same thing with kids not wanting to go to school and wanting to combat the system. Like, fine, don't go to school, but what are you going to do? You got to do something. You can't just fucking sit here. You got to figure
Right.
something out. And that's the problem where these young people are right now. They're seeing all this influence happening, and they can't see where they fit into that model.
Yeah, it's well, today the influencer crap on Instagram is the virtual reality world. And in today's society, unfortunately, most of us live in virtual reality. And it's also the reason why the climbing suicide rates and the climbing depression rates, so on and so forth, divorce, it can just go down the laundry list of
Sure,
people
all
who
day.
are obsessed with looking at Instagram and Facebook, and they always see their friends or people they know, acquaintances from high school, military, whatever. And they're always on these Aruban vacations or Bohemian vacations or whatever. And they think that that's their everyday life because they post highlight reels. And people need to understand that behind the scenes is a very different story. I almost want to do a documentary because I don't know what I post. I haven't went through like my reel back in the day because I knew like when I was doing bodybuilding competitions, I thought I was super cool and I like post my shirt off like an absolute tool bag. Come to realize it's like I can't stand those people today. I really can't, and I think it's disgraceful to society. It's a fucking highlight reel, dude.
Yeah.
Where's I going with this? I kind of circled back to me being a tool posting shirtless bodybuilding pictures. But long story short, before I remember what I said, I do think that is one of it's over 50%, probably higher, maybe over 75% of why our societal changes have happened into such a rapid succession. And it's a problem, and parents enable it. I do too. I'm terrible, man. I bought my kids a Nintendo Switch, and then like a month later, I'm fucking, let's get an Xbox. I'm horrible. So I'll admit it.
Yeah,
But,
man, you got to take ownership, right?
Right.
We all take ownership of what we say and what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it comes down to, is owning your situation.
Yeah. 100%, man. I think I guess I'm at an advantage in that aspect because I can speak with parents on a different level because I own a transit conditioning facility. Where when they come in, you got to be real with people because they come in obviously because they want an edge up, which is great. And I love that kids can be afforded the opportunity to do so in today's day and age.
Right.
What I don't love is the bullshitting. I've had kids come into my facility and I'm not going to say what they just came back from. They don't pretty much narrow down who that kid is. But they come back from certain sports and they have another sport that night that they're going to play and they're exhausted when they walk in. And I'm like, you know what we're doing today? We're going to go through a little 6-phase dynamic warm up. And then when we're done with that, I'm going to take a box and I'm going to put it in the middle of the floor and you're going to put your feet up on that box, bent knees, butt to the box, hands down, anatomical or on the floor. I don't care. And you're going to go to bed. And they sleep for 20 minutes. And then I say, I'll see you on Thursday. But it's a must. And it's almost like, and then I'll like text your parents or call and be like, hey, they can't come in like this again because that is destroying our youth, man. But that's the kind of push that the parents have on the kids. And I understand you get caught up in the realm of you want your kids to be the best, do the best, and they are the best. I get it. I think our approach is wrong. It is vastly wrong.
Well, and that ties into looking at what the kids are going through right now, which is this cancel culture nonsense that everyone's spinning around about. Like, if I don't like what you said, I'm going to cancel you. Like, what are you talking about? Cancel? You're not canceling anything. Like, let's grow up for a second and let's be real about the scenarios that we're putting ourselves into and the pressure that we're putting on the youth. If they put that pressure on themselves, that's on them. But, parents over pressuring, I think needs to be addressed. And you hit it right there.
Yeah. I mean, let me say that we're not Dave Chappelle. We're not Joe Rogan. We're not some political entity. We have nothing to do with any of that. So I could care less if someone wants to cancel me for saying something, because we're not dead serious.
Canceled.
Because we're here to tailor and harbor veterans and Gold Star families. All right. And ensure that they get the excellence and service that they deserve. It's a good point, though, man. But let me just say that to anyone who's watching who might have hated what I just said. Sorry, it's not for you. So I think that SFL tap and things like that, I think if someone were to scheme up, and don't steal my ideas, because I'll obviously know you listen to this, not someone from looking at YouTube right now, but I think that we need to hone in on the trades and the certification big time. Or a lot of these, because a lot of the guys end up getting out and then they want shooter jobs. I know some of our scouts went and did that. Listen, it's good stuff. You're single, you're young, but there's a much better way. And at the end of the day, you're still at risk for a lot of different things, taking those contracting jobs. You good?
Yeah, sorry. Well, I don't know if you saw on Facebook, old Lee Blanton. He's all soft now. He went and joined SF and got his long tab.
Right.
And I think that's a huge, it's a huge impact on the youth when you look at that. I remember when he was a young kid. He's a staff sergeant now, and he was an animal then, and now he's just continuing to that trend of being an animal. And it's like, yeah, man, do you? Don't let anybody tell you.
100% do you. Yeah, you're right, man. But the military's even gotten political. And this is why I can't have on any active vets. We can't canalize anyone that's active unless it's going to be a completely different topic. And it's unfortunate. Like, I'd love to have Blanton on. I love Blanton. He's one of our soldiers. I didn't know he got his long tab, man. That's awesome. And he'll have a great time. I remember when, I'm sure you were bounced around going to selection ID and all that crap. But I remember when I was still in and I was on the verge of getting out. And one of my buddies who was in one of the groups was like, you have got to go to selection and come to group. You have to. It's the only way you're going to stay in. And then I spoke to him like 5 years later, and or not even. And he said, it's so politicized at this point, and everything is so watered down that it's almost impossible to just be the alpha that you want to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Really,
absolutely.
Which brings me.
What's up? No, go.
All right. It brings me to I was at work. And I was like, let me jot down. See, this is the beauty about the roundtable is it's not scripted at all. It's completely off kilter. But I wrote down some topics that were like, this might be good to go over. I think that so going back to transitioning, and I can explain more deeply into why I feel that way and the stats that kind of support my feeling of that way. Let me also say that the military, and I don't know in 2021 if I'm extremely correct, but at one point we were the highest growing bachelor degree rate for enlisted soldiers, which is really cool. Anyway, across the board in the United States, enlisted children were the highest growing in pursuit of their bachelors. And I think the statistics of people who have it are the highest among any group as well. But with that said, I think when you do transition out, the high and mighty feeling is so brief. That was my bodybuilding thing. That's when I was like, I got to do something to lose my mind. And that's when I did the bodybuilding bullshit. I'm sure you kind of did something, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know, man, duck hunting. But unfortunately I'm in New York, which is stringent with everything, so I couldn't do any really cool guy stuff. But that's what I did, and it's that brief high and mighty moment, and then kind of just jumped into society. And I guess that's why we exist, or that's why we're still in pre-launch, but we're going to launch very, very soon here, next few weeks, hopefully. I don't know. I mean, there needs to be an answer. Like, veterans need that stimulation. And when you start going down that path of, the brain, how it functions and why veterans, have PTSD, it's just a brain injury. It's not a mental illness, yada, yada, yada. I think that a lot of it's got to do with the stimulation. It's like, we don't want to do boring shit anymore.
Right.
Life is boring. And that's also why, like, we go down the rabbit hole, is like nothing can stimulate you, and then all your buddies are fucking spread across the country. And that's why instead of deadlifting 500 pounds like a man today, I literally, or like a woman, actually. I know I have some girls even have way out deadlift me. So I'm not gonna sit here and say they can't. But instead of doing something like that, I just walked on the treadmill. Like, how soft am I? Like a feather. I'm serious.
Yeah, but I mean, at least you're doing something. I mean, there's guys out there that aren't doing anything, and they don't ever do anything. They wake up and they do Groundhog Day every day of their life, and that's what I wanted to avoid when I transitioned out. I was like, no, I'm not going to just do a menial job that's not going to give me any satisfaction. I need to do something that has meaning behind it that I can put my hands around and be part of, because like you said, we're scattered all across the country. But just look at the last couple of weeks, you, me, Colin, and all the other guys that have, been on this thread. I mean, it's bringing that camaraderie back, and it helps to influence each other to continue down this road of how we're going to build this thing out and how we're going to make this thing, big. And I think that's the important part, is because we have the ability and the technology to do so. I think it would be a disservice to other people, because there's plenty of people out there, thousands and thousands of people, thinking, saying, and wanting the same things that you're going through, that I'm going through, that other people are going through, that we know.
Yeah,
and it provides huge value.
I think that we would just be doing the same disservice that so many groups already do for veterans. There are a lot of great ones, but a lot of just terrible ones who fall into the complacency type of situation, or they realize it's actually hard to, for me from New York to travel to Texas to run an event. Well, I don't give a fuck personally. Like, that's why I'm doing this. The only passion project I've ever actually had. And which is why I'm like, we gotta launch. Like, calling the state, like, sign the damn paperwork. It's just aggravating, but this is the true. And I think it kind of falls in line with, you and some other people too. Like, this is a passion project. Once it gets rolling, I want to do it right. And I don't care how many takes it takes, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I just want to get it right, man. And it's kind of a good thing, though. Like I was saying earlier, that we're stalled right now for the next couple of weeks because, and when I say that, and listening, we're not stalled. We're just waiting on paperwork to align. So when we put our donations in, you can actually get a tax write-off, and it's not. So basically, the 501c3 status is pending and all that. So that'll be done very soon. But with that said, it gives us a lot of time to plan, and which I'll say it now, I have the banners in that I have to give you before I get out of myself, and then other merch, I'll send it down to you. It should be in like next week. Anyway, I have to say it here so I remember it, because I'll get off and forget, because I have a brain of whatever animal that forgets things all the time. With that said, so that high goes away, and then it's that slow cortisol and non-epinephrine drip that just sinks in and crushes you. I was on that podcast with Colin, and I told him, like, shit that would happen when I was on a treadmill or when I was working out at the gym, embarrassing shit. And but it's real. It's like that drip starts to set in, and then just like you said, you don't want to hermit yourself, man. What do you do? What do you do? Where do you find it? I can go to the indoor range and go pop off 1,000 rounds. Like,
Sure.
I don't think that'll be fun, but then I'll be like, well, I'm just gonna go get a bologna sandwich now at the deli. Like now I'm bored again.
My day is done.
Our day's done. Our day's done.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you?
I don't know, man. It's all about filling the day, right? Trying to not overburden yourself, but trying to make it to where, you can make sense of, what you're trying to achieve. I think some people, and I've felt this way before, is I'll overburden myself with too many things and then it'll overwhelm me. So then I have to take a step back and be like, okay, let's reset, and kind of look at things from a different point of view. But I mean, I see guys all the time, veterans riding around out here, walking into the store, and I'm like, what's going on with you? Like, you're just a mess. I can tell just by looking at you, there's something going on. And I say that because I see DV plates, right? We have disabled veteran plates in Texas. So I see a DV plate and then I see this guy get out and I'm like, this guy's he's got something going on. You can always spot somebody that needs some kind of pickup,
Yeah, they need a pickup. They do, man. Let's touch on two things. Let's touch on, okay, so I walk into a VA, it's up in Montrose in New York. I probably see 80% of the people that are, I don't know if they're just bullshitting or they're throwing themselves a pity party. I'm going to be fucking serious right now. Or they're throwing themselves a pity party, but like, listen, the man, actually both of us, like, we were fucking infantry dudes. Like, I get it. All right. Yeah. We've seen combat. We've seen people die in front of our fucking eyes. Like, we completely understand this shit. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I would say that on the outside, there's probably 50% of those people that need just a small pick me up because they do feel completely alone. And I've been there. But I would also say that there are people that game the shit out of the system.
Oh, 100%.
They game the system.
There's no doubt about that.
So I know that is that's something that people don't want to say out loud. I'll say the quiet parts out loud because I'm not doing this for any bullshit or exposure. And you're not either, man. We're doing it for a real reason, and we're going to target the people who are there for real reasons and who need this shit. And there's plenty of them. There's plenty of them.
Well, like I said before, man, it's getting these people off medication, getting them away from drugs, getting them off the alcohol. Like, that's the biggest thing, is people use these as a crutch to go through their life. And then they get to a point where it's just been abusive and abusing themselves to try to, I don't know, deflate or hide how they really feel. But it's like, reach out because it's important.
Yeah, now we're here. We're going to be targeting you. So whether you reach out or not, we're going to find you. But that's the thing too. I get angry because I was that guy. Like, and that's why it's like someone needs to say the quiet parts out loud. And if I don't do it, I'm doing exactly the way I started this thing, a complete injustice. And all of you, I'm wasting your fucking time. Like, it needs to be said. No, 100%, dude. It needs to be said. Like, this is exposure. Like, I'm obviously not going to be bullshitting and lying because other vets are going to watch this and be like, this guy's either true or he's full of shit.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it too. Is like, this is the platform that we can be 100% real on it. True. But yeah, I do think that you're right. I do think that a spark needs to be ignited. We're going to be targeting it. We're going to be running shit all over the country. And I really look forward to it. And we're actually, I think a great idea is like, listen, if we want to run a sniper range, like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, I know how to high angle shoot. No, like, we fucking call in some dude who actually like applied high angle shooting or shot a mile in combat. Like, we need to target the like-minded people in the correct situation. I think that's also where foundations fall short, is they don't have the right people in the right situation.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, why not? And I can be there as a rah mentor for them. I mean, listen, if dudes want to go and bang some rounds, I'm sure me and you can teach them just fine. But you know what I mean.
Get your pom-poms out.
You know what I mean.
We'll put you in a skirt.
It's all good. Which reminds me, I like the scenario of us getting that range, and then we have like 4-man kill team where you set up like 100 targets, and the farthest ones, you can make it a kilometer if you want. You can go crazy. Probably need like a 110 or something if you're gonna go bananas with that kilometer. But that said, I think we do that. We set it up. Let's be realistic. Let's say like 600 meters far target. That's really far from me now. I haven't shot in a long time. So 600 meters far target, and then you have all the way into like 25 meters, and you have 100 or whatever target set up. 4-man kill team. You guys start, enter clear room. You come out into the open. You have to move tactically as a team, and then get up to the line, and you get 30 seconds to knock down as many targets as possible.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, it's a good idea, and you can bracket that out. You can do it as a tournament. Not necessarily a turkey shoot, but you can still call it a bracketed shootout tournament. We did one with another organization that I was part of a while back, and we took them duck hunting. I was one of the guys that was invited to go, and it was just a pistol shoot, and the winner received a 1911 engraved, beautiful pistol.
Whoa!
And it was really cool of the organization to do that. But then again, everything that we were doing there, it was all expenses paid trip for these veterans. There was 10 of us, all different problems and different variations and different services, but it was the connection part of bringing us 10 together that made the difference. And it definitely speaks volumes. And that's why I was talking to one of my other soldiers. He messaged me because he saw our video, and I said, absolutely, man. What do you got going on? How can we, be involved? And he said, yeah, there's an organization in Montana. That's where he lives, that does fly fishing. I was like, well, maybe we can do a co-collaboration with them. And I think that'd be something great. Go out to a ranch, do some fishing.
Dude, I agree. And that's kind of using the talent around you is like, that's what I'm saying. I can't go out there and teach them fly fishing. Like, I could YouTube something real quick, I guess, to do a little DIY action. But yeah, you're right. It's like you're right. We employ the like-minded success seekers in different realms or scenarios. That's a great example.
Absolutely.
Great example right there. And I agree with you. I think that society would never understand our sick and twisted sense of humor either.
No, and the people that do are often finding themselves being serial killers or psychopaths.
Oh my God.
But I try to remind people. I say, you know what? No, we're not that bad. We just, we have a twisted sense of, mortality.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes. I'm going to leave it at that. PG-13 segment.
Right. We have to edit that piece.
So I want whoever the lieutenant, I gotta get this out there. I can't say your name because I don't want to incriminate you, but you're the lieutenant that we tied down to the ground and you couldn't get out and you were screaming for help. You need to show your face and come on the show, man. Don't be bashful. I want you on here. We love you that deep down in our soul, but we definitely I don't know if that surfaced ever.
Probably that was suppressed deep down in the dark valleys of where nobody goes anymore. Reminds me of one of my poor exos. I offered him a bite of a banana once, and he throated the whole thing. I was like, buddy, what are you doing? I just said a bite. And, he reached out to me about 2 years after that. And he said to me, he goes, you scarred me for life with bananas. I was like, well, they'll try to steal my food.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm not editing any of this. By the way, this is all going out.
Oh, this is pure gold.
I'm gonna put myself in a little safe space and keep it at that and move on because, man, I'd be fired immediately. All right. So I think the show is not meant to be super long. Probably 30 minutes. I know we went over. I think to make it rock solid, the foundation, we need to target the outdoor events like that, the shooting ranges, the fly fishing, the hunting styles. It's just what the alpha kind of hones in on. And also, maybe, dude, you were a climber, right? That's what you did. You were in the mountains at Ranger School, and you did it recreationally too.
I did for a lot of years. Unfortunately, for me now, my ailments have changed the way that I do things.
Right.
Even little things like sitting in a certain chair, I can't do it because it just hurts so much.
Sure.
But I mean, yeah, I still have that skill, of course.
Yeah, I mean, just even teaching like rope tying, like that kind of stuff, knots again.
Yeah, of course. You can throw a rappel lane up and throw some dudes off the side of a cliff. I'm always down with that.
Of course you are.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. I think we get fancy dancy like that, and start targeting stuff like that. I think vets would enjoy things like that, even crazy hikes where we go up and have a big freaking campfire and just crazy stuff. I think that the retreats need to be very based around that type of not only physical but kind of mental output. Because I don't think that, and listen, comment please. I don't think that people want to sit around and have a powwow at retreats. Retreats really isn't even the best word for it. It's just let's just go on vacation and have fun. Like that's kind of more of what it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea. If anyone else has any great ideas out there, Colin was bringing up like some beekeeping thing. If anyone's into that, Colin has a really good contact that they actually pay you to go do that, get certified in it, and then they some type of grant is available as well.
Right.
But it's all good stuff. I think we're on the right foot. So let's leave it at that for today. And then maybe we get a little more saucy. I think the more we start talking crap about these lieutenants, they'll start popping out and be like, oh, we want to stand up for ourselves now. Well, listen.
Start showing up.
Yeah. If you get froggy jump, we're here. I'm here to console you after you come on our show and we absolutely destroy it. No, I'm kidding. Now, come out of the woodworks. We miss you guys. All right. That's all we got. We'll wrap it up right there for the day.